So how good is this least squares line that we're finding? What's the purpose of using it if it's actually not a good predictor of y values for a given x value connected to our data? The way we determine this is with the coefficient of determination, which is the variable r squared. This determines what percentage of the behavior of the y variable can be explained by the behavior of the x variable if we use the equation of least squares line to do the predicting. So an example is, what if your r equals 0.90? If I square 0.90, then that means r squared is 0.81. As a percentage, that would state 81% of the behavior of the y values can be explained by the variable if we use the least squares line. What does that mean for the other 19%? Well, that means the other 19% is basically, or the outcome of the other 19% is due to random change or possibly a lurking variable. Remember that vocabulary word. So how do we figure out r and r squared? I didn't see it anywhere on here. That's because I didn't tell my calculator to find it. So whenever you're doing this data regression, and I probably should have done this from the beginning, but it fits in here, I'm going to click my mode button. And I want to make sure that my stat diagnostics are on. Now they're on instead of off. You always want to make sure this is on when you're doing your regression. So remember, I have the same data in. I'm going to go through the same steps. Stat, calc. I'm going to go down to number 8. I want to store my regression equation in y1, vars, y-vars, function, y1. Here it is. Oh, now look. Now I have an r squared and an r. So remember, that r is showing my correlation. How close to a straight line is it? It's pretty close, right? 0.9485. That's almost 1. That means it's a pretty straight line. R squared is 0.899. I'll round that to 90. So about 90% of my y values can be predicted using this line. That means it's a pretty good fit. Obviously, the closer it is to 1, the better prediction it is. So always remember to turn your stat diagnostics on so you can figure out your correlation coefficient and your coefficient of determination. We will practice all of this in class together.